Good afternoon, Raptor freaks. Lexi out here later than usual, but now or never, whatever. I make it. And I did a little thing just in case, but I got the internet to finally work now. So I'm going to go ahead and do the stream right now. All right, y'all. So let's get to it. We got 4 big things to talk about real quick. I've seen all your comments in here, and I will read them still. And well, let's just get right to it. First of all, we got Orlando tonight. So let's get the preview done. The latest lineup news, well, from the afternoon, since I can give you the latest lineup news. Colin Murray Boyle's illness is questionable today. Jakob Pertl will not play today, and Barrett will not play either. Barrett is not going to play on the second day of a back-to-back. They are resting RJ Barrett as expected, according to Blake Murphy. Mo Bamba is available. That's right. Yesterday, the Raptors acquired Mo Bamba, and Mo Bamba will be dressed and available to the Raptors to play tonight against the Orlando Magic, a team that Mo Bamba used to play for. So it should be pretty fun to see that. Blake Murphy's also reporting that Franz Wagner and Mo Wagner are out for the Magic. Jalen Suggs is doubtful, and Goga is questionable. Unfortunately, may not see that Georgian versus Georgian matchup of Goga versus Sandro. And the two ways will be available tonight if needed, according to Blake Murphy. The Raptors 905 will be playing tomorrow against Westchester Knicks. But the two ways are if they want to play or if they want them to play, they'll have them available for tonight. So we'll have to see. But yeah, that's basically the news. Colin Castleton, that's not even news there. So yeah, that's the latest lineup news. RJ is out. Yak is out. Colin is questionable with illness, and a bunch of the Magic are out. So there you go. That's the latest lineup news. All right, let me do the ref report. I'm sure y'all been wondering who the refs are. Maybe you went and looked yourself already. The replay center is Evan Scott, JT Orr, Ray Acosta, Simone Jelks, and Tyler Ricks. And our crew chief tonight will be James Capers Jr., the veteran, number 19 in his 31st season out of Chicago. His favorite movie is Malcolm X. His favorite musician is Jill Scott. His favorite book is The Greatest, My Own Story, Muhammad Ali's autobiography. Favorite meal, lobster roll in Martha's Vineyard. He likes to use Pandora as an app. He wants to attend Wimbledon, and his hidden talent is bid whist. James Capers officiated the NBA All-Star Game in 2010 in Arlington, Texas, and in 2018 at Los Angeles. He has worked NBA games in Beijing, Johannesburg, London, Paris, and Tokyo. Yeah, James is a second-generation ref who's in his he's refereed the Raptors once this year already, and we won that game. So we're 1-0 this season with James Capers so far. We win 44% of our games in the whole history of the Raptors with James Capers, which is below our winning average as a franchise. So he has not been a good ref for the Raptors over 31 years. And Orlando Magic win 52% of their games. So 44-52 in the favor of Orlando with the crew chief, James Capers Jr. The second ref today will be Giamidis Petraeus, number 50 out of Kaunas, Lithuania, number 11th season. His favorite TV show is Narcos. He likes Coming to America with Eddie Murphy. He listens to Swedish House Mafia. His favorite book is The Great Gatsby. He eats Ceppaline. He uses Peloton as his app. He'd like to visit Iceland. His bucket list is a cycle in the French Alps. His hidden talent is ballroom dancing. That's right. Giamidis in the 2018-19 season made his playoff debut as an NBA official and refereed the Rising Stars competition at NBA All-Star in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, Giamidis is the best ref today for the Raptors. We won the first game he's ref this year with for us already. So 2-0 with the refs so far. 60% winning for the Raptors in the history of Petraeus refereeing Raptors games. It's actually 59.5 is the split, and 500 for the Magic. So 60-50 for the Raptors with the second ref Petraeus and the ref check. His third ref for today is Pat O'Connell, number 90, first season out of Bayonne, New Jersey. His favorite TV show is The Sopranos. He likes the movie Wedding Crashers. He listens to Scarborough Shooting Stars star J. Cole His favorite book is Legends and Souls. He likes to eat steak. He uses Peloton also. So this is the common thread. These are Peloton brothers that are coming to referee tonight. Peloton. He'd most like to visit Italy. His bucket list is to attend the Olympics. Yeah, Pat O'Connell has refereed us once this season already. We lost. O'Connell has officiated 7 years in the NBA G League, where he worked 3 consecutive finals in 2023, 2024, and this year in 2025. He has also refereed games in the Basketball Africa League, including the 2025 BAL playoffs. Yeah, Pat O'Connell is a horrible ref for us. We've never won a game that he has refereed for us. We are 0-4 so far with him in his young rookie career. So, yeah, 0-4, 0% for the Raptors with Pat O'Connell. And meanwhile, the Magic have won 1 out of 3 games. So I think they're 33%. So they've won a third of their games with Pat O'Connell. So 0-33, the split with the junior ref, the third ref, Pat O'Connell. Absolutely never won with him. And we did lose a game already with him this season. So, yeah, there's your ref report. It's not the best ref crew, honestly. James Capers is not nice to the Raptors. He isn't. He's one of these guys. It's very. I get this underlying USA rah from him. So we'll just have to see how it goes today. Giamidis is definitely our favorite out of the 3 as far as the refs. All right, so there's your ref report. There's your latest lineup news. I guess we had some games yesterday, which were fantastic. There were some fantastic basketball games by the Raptors. We got the double W, and honestly, we got a hat trick of goodness yesterday, winning the Warriors game in overtime, beating the Maine Celtics and sweeping them with 905, continuing the undefeated streak for that team at 18-0 in their season so far. And then to top it all off, Bobby went and finally did it. He got that pit. He picked up Mo Bamba. He did it. I was like, man, we were asking, is like, there red flags? Is there something wrong with Mo Bamba? Why wouldn't you just go get Mo Bamba, Bobby, is what we said earlier this week. And, well, he finally did it. He went and got Mo Bamba. And we're going to see Mo Bamba play tonight against the Orlando Magic in a Raptors jersey, which is very, very exciting in a lot of ways. Let me do my stars of the game. I'm not going to mess around here. I may not read y'all's comments too much because I kind of want to do a condensed show and not go too crazy since I'm on at such an unorthodox time. Yeah, there's a nice storm out here in the country and a windstorm last night too. And I actually had a tree break right in my yard, just fell over half of it. And there's been crazy winds also. So the internet went a little wonky for a little while today, but I'm back online, obviously, and back on to do the stream suddenly right now. So, yeah, let's go look at the box score for the Warriors game, the first game of yesterday on the double W victorious day. Of course, this was an interesting game where the Raptors played pretty good in the first half. They were winning at halftime. But in the third quarter, the Warriors started messing us up. And it looked like it was going to be one of these stories written where, Raptors Nation gets shaky. The audience in the arena is kind of a little, oh my gosh, no, I don't want to see them fail. But nah, things turned around and went in the right way, and they won. They figured it out. They got it to overtime. And then in the overtime, they took over and outlasted the Warriors. And the Warriors, it's interesting because the Warriors were actually very powerful yesterday. Normally, when we've beaten the Warriors in Toronto in recent years, they have not had their best team, but they did in this game. And their best team is the olden State Warriors of Steph and Draymond and Al Horford and Jimmy Butler. I mean, these are guys that have a lot of experience and they play at a very high cerebral level. So it's very impressive that our team, our young core, was resilient and did find enough of the mix of contributions between the whole team to get the win in overtime and beat them. Of course, a dominant play of Scott getting Raptors history yesterday is a part of the reason why I'm wearing the Scottie jersey right now. Is amazing. We see in some ways, Scottie, you told on yourself. You can start rebounding like this more regularly. That'd be awesome. You and Colin showing your crazy rebounders. If you really want to be boardmen that get paid, you know what you get paid in if you're a board man, Scottie? That's W's. That's right. You're already making the millions with your little Millie carrying her off the court at the end of the game. So sweet. You can make the millions. You can have Millie. but you want the W, you got to be board man gets paid, is what I'm saying right now. And board man got paid. And in some ways, it was infectious. At a certain point, he just started grab rebounds. It's just like, you know what? If this is what it is, I can do this all day. I'm going to do this. And bam, you got 25 rebounds all of a sudden, Scott. You could done this a long time ago. I've been waiting for you to do this. Is it some ways it's like you saw Colin doing something a certain way? You're like, man, maybe I should do what that's doing. That's what he's doing. I could do that too. So it's like, yeah, just do it. It's Nike. And you got 23, 25, and 10 all of a sudden, Scottie Barnes, which is a beautiful, amazing thing. And this is a way to win in the way of Bill Russell and not necessarily Michael Jordan. In some ways, Kobe, not necessarily like how Kobe would win it. You going to win it like maybe Bill Russell would, how he influenced games to be won by dominating the boards and doing defensive things and just making winning plays and just being an all around badass. And yeah, you're amazing, Scott. Amazing. This is the greatest game you've ever played. And I've said this about you in your career on many nights as the years have gone by. This is the best game Scottie ever played. And well, we can say that again last night. And you are a bona fide all-star. I don't give a shit what these early results are saying right now. That man's not even on a blip on the radar for Eastern All-Stars. That is a travesty, and that's not right. It's good to see Notorious BI3 is in number 12 in the early returns for All-Star. But why the hell? Where's hell is Scott? And even if the voters don't vote him in, if he doesn't make it that way, them coaches are going to put him on the team. Sky's going to be an all-star. It doesn't matter. ESPN can speculate on who they think are going to be in the spots. Man, the coaches know that stuff like last night, that just puts him on all-star. I'm sorry. A performance like what he did last night, which is something like only Jokic does in this league. He's on the all-star team. It's over. It's done with. Vince Carter, it's over. Scottie's an all-star. He's an all-star. So coaches, don't fumble this. You know that he's going to be an all-star. He's going to be an all-star. That's right. Scottie Barnes is my number one star of the game for last night. An epic overtime win. Gerald's already calling it the game of the year. Gerald, we're not even halfway through the season, bro. You can't call this the game of the year, man. It may be one of the most exciting games so far this year, but there's so much game to go. We don't know what the game of the year is until the year's over. You can't say this, although this is a candidate. This is a candidate for it, for sure. Scottie, 42 minutes because of overtime, 23 points on 11 of 17 shooting. And, you guys realize, like, right away, as soon as Rowan Barrett Jr. comes back, the pressure off of everybody is alleviated. That all of a sudden you see a whole kind of different Raptors team. You see Scottie get a triple-double and make history in Raptors history, partly because Rowan's around all of a sudden, because RJ's there. You see Brandon get way more wide open space, and he's getting wide open shots, and he's not as crowded all of a sudden because RJ's there. You see guys on the bench, and people like Oshai in the starting lineup, all of a sudden get more lively and a little bit more interactive and a little bit more useful because RJ's around. You even see old RJ's buddy Emmanuel come around and make amazing huge shots late. And my song for last week for Christmas, oh call Emmanuel. Well, it's right on point. I hope that people start seeing the usefulness of Emmanuel quickly and what he can do with offense late in games and hit clutch threes to get us in overtime, to beat the Warriors. In some ways, it's like, look, he is a stat line there that's pretty dang good as far as things. Like, I think he's my second star of the game. We get Scott first, Scottie Barnes, 23 points, 11 of 17, 1 of 1 at the free throw line, 25 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 turnovers, 3 steals, and a block, a plus 24. Amazing. Emmanuel, my second star of the game, with 27 points himself in 38 minutes, 7 of 15, 5 of 10 from 3, 8 of 8 at the free throw line. Emmanuel's been perfect at the free throw line recently, just really making those points count. 4 rebounds for him, also 7 assists. He did have 5 turnovers, which is maybe the ugliest thing about his stats. 1 steal, a plus 7. So, yeah, Emmanuel woke up and hit some very, this is the thing. RJ said this after the game in his interview. He said, I just want to come in and give energy to the team and help the guys. In some ways, it's been so frustrating sitting on the sideline, wanting to play, realizing how I could be helping them, and not being able to do it. And, RJ had a minutes restriction and he didn't play super, super good, but that infusion of RJ's energy, it's a couple different things I realized. RJ is quality control. RJ, if the Raptors have dogged it or not played up to the standard of energy that Darko wants or the team needs, RJ will come out there as a leader and set this tone and the standard of what is expected as far as being engaged, playing smart, and putting that energy on the court at all times. In some ways, when he does that, they have to do it behind him as a leader. And that's one of the things we've been missing. A second thing is that RJ's super communicative on the court. He's always checking in. He's like a very much a glue guy. Scottie and Brandon have problems bridging things. Well, RJ is that bridge. In some ways, they're figuring things out with everybody else, and he is the guy in the middle that's kind of facilitating in different ways, whether he's helping Grady and Jacoby get better shots, whether he's encouraging Oshai, and all of a sudden this is a surprise that Abaji started scoring right away at the beginning of the game because of the body of work that Barrett and Abaji started together last year, most games last year, and have a familiarity with each other, and that Oshai can start going because RJ knows how to help him. This is there's a plethora of things that RJ Barrett added to help us in this game, to help add us to win. And he wasn't even one of the main scorers, and he didn't even play that well. It's just that all of a sudden, wow, let's reintroduce this energy, this persona, this person that's in our lineup and how he adds to things in certain ways. It's like, does Scottie go off and get this triple-double without RJ out there coming back? I don't know. I don't know if in some ways there was certain things that Scottie started operating in different ways. He's graduated without RJ while he was gone in certain ways, but now RJ's back in the mix. It's like it takes some pressure off Scottie, and all of a sudden he can be this all-around crazy triple-double machine that he just did last night. This is a really good. It's like, listen, man. It's like all y'all falling off the ledge because of Washington, Charlotte, and Brooklyn losses this past month. How are you feeling about things right now with the prospect of, well, Bobby went and got the shopping list, and RJ's back, and well, the Raptors can have a good chance and win in most every game they're going to play. We're going to play Orlando tonight, and well, it won't be easy. We will be missing Jakob and RJ again, but Mo Bamba's here all of a sudden, and we've got a lot of confidence, and we just beat the Warriors in overtime, and we didn't have to travel last night. This is a home back-to-back. So, there's a lot of good chances here. There's a lot of good chances here. We put some more confidence in Walter and Dick and Abaji, and we got, we got some nice information from a game against the Warriors that's going to feel good. I mean, Scottie, his hero is Steph Curry. A lot of these guys on the team look up to Steph Curry, and they love playing Steph Curry. In some ways, you could tell Scottie was like, I got to beat Steph Curry today. There was a little bit of that kind of energy coming from Scott because I know how much he reveres him, how much he looks up to him, how much he thinks he's just an amazing player in the history of the NBA, and that it's a joy that Scottie gets to this point in his 5th year in the NBA to be at this stature of play, that he can beat the great Steph Curry in an overtime game like this, that he can honestly, he was toying with Draymond Green last night in a lot of different ways. Sure, he left them out there, and Draymond brayed about, oh, you can't leave me out here, Scottie, because I'm going to hit these threes. But honestly, who is Draymond Green compared to Scottie Barnes? And everybody who compared Draymond Green, Scottie Barnes is the next Draymond Green, shame on you. Because look at what Scottie Barnes is compared to what Draymond Green is. Come on now. Come on now. Some people say, well, Draymond's gotten games like that. Bullshit. Has Draymond Green got a 23, 25, 10 game in his history? I don't think he does. If he does, well, I stand corrected. But I don't think he got exactly that. He's got triple doubles. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think he's got a stat line like what Scott did last night. And shame on every single person that ever said Scottie Barnes is like Draymond Green. I always said that's an insult to Scott. That is an insult to Scott. And even Draymond said it himself. Draymond said it himself one day in an interview. He said, guys, Scottie's better than me. That's what he said. He said that in an interview once. I've heard him say that. So it's kind of goofy. Every single person, when Scottie came in the league and you said he's the next Draymond Green, I was like, you guys are jerks. You're underselling this dude. I really believe that right from the start. I was like, I always hated the Draymond comparison to Scottie because I always thought that it was so limiting and so wrong. So wrong. You see it on the court last night. You see it on the court yesterday. That's right. Let's see. What else do we got? Another star of the game, Brandon. Brandon was great, man. Brandon was cool in some ways last night. He was you know what's fun about Brandon right now? Is we're getting to see the artistry and the pure skill of just how he finds his shots. And like he has a real scores mentality. Like whether it's going to the basket with his long arms and doing crazy finger rolls or getting even dunks or just the footwork and the dribble around to get a little bit of space to shoot over people in the mid-range. There's a certain joy and fun to watching a master work, right? To see like somebody how they do this and just kind of like it harkens to stuff like with Kawhi in that year with the Raptors. It harkens to stuff like Vince when he was playing for us and he would do amazing like things for offensively. It harkens to Jordan kind of stuff. That's what I'm saying. You just get to see a very high level offensive player operate in very creative ways within the game. And the other thing I love about what Brandon's doing is like I've said this recently, he's buying into the team and he really does want to be true to the identity of the Toronto Raptors. He doesn't want to just be the scorer and just got this guy. He does want to do his part in the heavy lifting and the stuff that's going on out there as far as like he's blocking shots more. I love the way he blocks shots. Honestly, when I see Brandon do an amazing defensive play, I'm like, look at this dude, man. Look at this dude. This guy is a two-way player if he wants to be more and more. He can be known more for defense. It's just his offense is just so finely skilled that it overshadows a lot of the stuff he could do on the other end. That's absolutely helpful. You notice when you see RJ out there, RJ is kind of floating around and just being in the right place in the right time. And the other thing that I really love about RJ returning yesterday is that he's like a safety valve in the backcourt when the ball may change in transition. If the other team's coming back at us, you'll notice our transition is defense is better when RJ's in the lineup because he's just a really good last line of defense and getting back and kind of like really having that mentality about like this is our home goal and I am going to protect it because you get that feeling from RJ like in some ways and that's part of what gets infectious to the other guys too. Seriously, that's part of what gets infectious to them too. Let's see. My fourth star is Jacoby. Jacoby off the bench, another great game stacked. He's got a couple of great games right in a row where he's offensively being very helpful. 33 minutes for Walter, 18 points, 6 of 10 from the field, 4 of 7 from three. Made both his free throws, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnovers, and 1 steal, a plus 15. Yeah, after the game, the last game, he played really well against the Wizards also, but they lost. But this game, once again, and he's being money from the threes, which is awesome. He's active. He's being plucky. He's getting his hands in there and being a deflector. He's doing all kinds of different stuff. He's getting in there, mixing it up on rebounds too. So Jacoby, keep working the way you are. The steady work is showing, and God has got your back. That's what I'm saying right there. God's got Jacoby Walters back. Trust me. That's right. My fifth star is Sandro Mamu. Sandro, just in the early part of the game, he's just like a dervish. He's a whirling dervish that just doesn't stop. And he like the one play where Grady saved it out of bounds, got it to Scott at half court, and then Scottie got it to Sandro for a looping layup. That doesn't work without the extreme hustle of Mamu Kelishvili. Like that dude is just going, man. He's crazy for like a big. He's like up and down the court, up and down the court. And I love like there's often times where I think he's got the ball near the 3-point line and he's dribbling and he's kind of attacking the rim. And I always think he's going to dump it off, but no. He comes in, he has this looping layup and it often goes in. And it's just fun to watch, man. Sandro, you're awesome, man. Sandro had 13 points, 6 of 11 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, 6 rebounds, 2 steals and a block, no turnovers, a -7. Yeah, he was cool, man. Grady, I'm going to give you an honorable mention. Grady, you're doing it right, man. You're doing it right. You may not be hitting all the shots, but you're doing it right. Keep your confidence. You're doing it right, my guy. 15 minutes, 4 points for Grady, 2 of 4 from the field, 0 of 2 from three. He missed both his threes, but he was very, very valuable because he was hustling his ass off. He was a shit disturber. He was going in there and mixing it up to try and get rebounds too. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, a plus 12. So, Grady, you contributed to the team beating the Warriors yesterday. Even if you didn't hit your threes, you contributed to the team winning yesterday, and I appreciate you for it. Let's build from this. Let's build from this. Jamal Shed, listen, he didn't have the best stat line, but he had an amazing plus minus. This guy was a plus 34. So he had to have some factor in helping the Raptors win. Of course, a lot of the duties on Chef Curry were Oshai, Jacoby, Jamal, and then Scottie at certain points too, guarding Steph Curry. And you see how they have to guard him with the really unorthodox like fronting and the like really kind of bulldozing him in different ways just to try and like corral him. And we saw the artistry and the amazingness of Steph Curry with some of those crazy shots he was making while he got fouled and all that kind of stuff. Of course, the crowd's going to have their fans for him. You got to understand, in some ways, it's a totally different thing. Steph fans and Golden State fans, it's a totally different thing. It's a totally different thing. And there's a lot of people here in Toronto that are Steph fans more than Golden State fans. They may be actually Raptors fans, but they're Steph Curry fans as a player. And there's all kinds of weird interaction with that because some of these people are not really Golden State fans. They're fans of Steph Curry. And part of the reason why they're fans of Steph Curry is because of his Canadian connections to the city, his wife, his growing up here and living here in the middle school years while his dad played for the Raptors, Wardell. It's like that's part of it, guys. If you're worried and wondering why the hell you get so mad that people are out there rooting for Steph Curry, there's a real connection. And I think also in some ways it's part of the reason why we are so successful against the Warriors here in Toronto is because their legend, their icon, their person has a soft spot for our city. And in some ways, I don't know. He's trying. Oh, definitely trying. He was out there busting his butt and putting on a show and doing some cool stuff. But in some ways, I saw the problems with Golden State actually yesterday. I saw the problems. Jimmy and Steph don't totally see eye to eye. I can tell right now, Jimmy Butler might be broken in the NBA at this point. He may be to the point where he really does believe his crap don't smell in any kind of way. And he may be toxic at this point because I think he's the problem right now in Golden State. Well, Draymond's always a problem because he's outspoken, he's boisterous, he's going to cause ruffled feathers at times, and he's been very outspoken and toxic at times too. But I think that the mix with the Warriors is super toxic right now because they're not playing as a team, and you got your old vets that are not seeing eye to eye. I'm going to tell you that right now. Literally, I saw a little section of the game where Jimmy Butler and Steph were interacting, and Steph does not take Jimmy seriously totally. And in some ways, there's a frustrating thing between them. I'm telling you right now. And then the other thing is the youngsters are very young on that team, and they make a lot of mistakes. So you have like a really weird like mix of these older guys that should know better, but they're not really playing exactly right together. And then you've got these really young green guys who some of them are thrust into positions they shouldn't be in yet because they're kind of hurried up and put out there in certain ways. So the Warriors are a mess, man. And they're exactly their record, a 500 team out there. And, Steph Curry is a amazing legend, and people got to play him and see him while they can, right? Right. Steve Kerr saying all kinds of great things about Toronto. Also, we found out yesterday that Darko and the Raptors coaching staff get together with the Golden State staff after the game. Like last night, they all went out and celebrate the past coach that died 2 years ago for the Warriors, the Serbian Dejan Milovic, and like they want to celebrate him, and they do, and that's what they did last night. Jama being a former Warriors coach, and so much crossover in that. Jerry Stackhouse, of course, is in the mix with all that. Looking more at the stats for the guys, RJ came back and 24 minutes was his minutes limit with 12 points, 5 of 13 shooting, 2 of 5 from 3, and he was 0 for 2 at the free throw line. Of course, he comes back, he makes a lot of good things happen, but then also at the same time, he does his signature, I'm gonna miss 2 free throws right at the start of coming back, which is hilarious to me. 7 rebounds for RJC. That's another thing underrated that we missed about him is like we've had rebounding trouble, partly because RJ is just one of those guys that adds to getting the rebounds for us. And we've lacked that while he was out. 4 assists, no turnovers, a -5. Fantastic. Oshai, as I said, he got double digits in scoring. He got pepped up and woken up a little bit. In fact, he was the best player for the Raptors at the start of the game as far as getting us going and making things happen in different ways. 20 minutes for Oshai, 10 points, 4 of 6 shooting. He definitely gets an honorable mention from me. 0 for 1 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 turnovers, a -20 for Ochai Abaji. Let's see. Jameson came in for a minute of garbage time along with Jonathan and Garrett right at the end of the game. So that's the box score. Checking it out with those guys. Looking on the other side, of course, Steph Curry, 39 points in 41 minutes, 12 of 30 from the field, 4 of 11 from 3, 11 at the free throw line. So, yeah, good stuff there, man. Good stuff there. All right, let's see. Let's see. Maybe I'll talk to you guys just a little bit. I don't want to do the whole chat to be too long because since I'm so late, Trevor's saying 905 continue to win. Yeah, fantastic. Beating the Maine Celtics. We had some goofy people in the chat last night, but the Raptors 905 came through. And well, I guess I'll just do the stars for them now. We'll do the stars of the game for the other W yesterday. The 905, fantastic against Maine Celtics, really routed them once again. 124 to 100 was the final score. And Ron Harper Jr. was probably the better player once again on the other side with 17 points, 6 of 11 from the field. But our star of the game for the Raptors 905, in my opinion, was AJ Lawson. AJ Lawson back to play for them in this game, and he was pretty good, pretty good. He had 22 points in 28 minutes, 8 of 17, 1 of 4 from 3, made all 3 of his free throws, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers, a steal and a block, a plus 15. You know, AJ, there was an AJ to AJ connection with AJ Hogarth and AJ Lawson with some cool stuff happening between them. Lawson is just such a dynamic scorer. In some ways, yes, he's an NBA player. Yes, he can score in the G League as he wants to. And he's definitely a great weapon for Andrew Jones. Great weapon for Andrew Jones. This was a fun game, this 905 game yesterday. It was a fun game. Tyson Degenhart got the chain yesterday. It was really nice to see Tyson Degenhart. He's been kind of like building in his games recently. 22 minutes for Tyson, 15 points on 7 of 9 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 turnovers, a plus 12. Yeah, it wasn't even as good as the game before, which Olivier Sarr got the chain in. It's just that Andrew Jones need to recognize Tyson Degenhart for his steady contributions recently for the 905 in these games. And this has been a big subject with Tyson right now is his prolific scoring in college. He was such a huge scorer. Like he scored like over 2,000 points in college. And like now his role on the 905 is very different. He's a bench role player. And well, that's just the life of the NBA. You know, you be a certain player at certain stages, your high school, your college. In the NBA, it's a totally different ecosystem. And where you fall in with your talent and who you are, well, you just got to see what it is. And right now, Degenhart, even though he was everything to Boise State, he's doing this role for the 905. But you know what? In some ways, he understands it. He's very mature about it. And there's no ego about it. It's just kind of like, I understand this is this ecosystem and I accept this. And he makes the best of it. And in some ways he grows and learns with that attitude in this ecosystem to more expansion of better things for him with that attitude. And this may be one of the biggest things lacking in a lot of young players trying to make the NBA these days is like, yeah, forget about who you were before. You have to figure out who you are now and recreate yourself in a whole different kind of way. And this is a lot different and it's way harder. And this is stuff that everybody should be thinking about on the Raptors bench, whether it's Jacoby Walter, Grady Dick, Jamison Battle, Jamal Shed, all those guys. I'm telling you, because you got to adapt your role to where you are with the talent. And would you rather be a big fish on a shitty team that doesn't score any points? Or would you rather be a role player off the bench on a team that's fighting for a championship? That's what you got to ask yourself sometimes. That's what you got to ask yourself. The third star of the game for me was Tyreek Key. Is fantastic. Tyreek, 20 minutes, 18 points, 6 of 10 off the bench. He didn't get the start this game because AJ was back. 1 for 3 3 for 3 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 turnovers, of 1 steal, a +8. Yeah, Tyreek Key is a scorer. Tyreek Key has underrated hops. Let's just put it that way. He is underrated hops. In some ways, he reminds me so much of Anthony Parker. Anthony Parker of the Raptors back in the day, the brother of Candace Parker. Yeah, he's got a similar player build to Anthony Parker in some ways. The one thing that Tyreek did last night that was hilarious was he did this dunk where he hung on the rim and he got a technical. So stupid. These refs were kind of stupid last night. Andrew Jones got really mad at them at one point, and you could hear him over the mic saying, "If you're going to call it down there, you better call it here. I just want consistency," is exactly what he said. And Andrew was awesome. He got a tech and he got in trouble, and then he was kind of really holding back. And the refs were kind of like assholes and called the tech on the holding of the rim by Tyreek in some ways just to be like power players and kind of be jerks. But who cares? Who gets the last laugh? The 905 win the game 124 to 100. So it's like referees be little shits and act little goofy ways in the second half of the game, and it doesn't matter because we're gonna run this game no matter what against the Maine Celtics. And we're gonna boil up these lobsters real good, just like we did. So yeah, salute to Tyreek Key hanging on the rim. That was really awesome. David Roddy is my 4 star. David started and he was 15 points in 30 minutes, 6 of 9 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3. 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 1 block, a +13. David Roddy is just a force. And in some ways, part of the reason why the Raptors are undefeated, Raptors 905 are undefeated, is because of the veteran NBA experience and know-how of people like David Roddy on this team. Patrick McCaw is another one. There's guys on this team that just have experience. AJ Lawson, Jonathan Mobo. These guys have experience in the NBA, and they have a little bit more team kind of like veteran kind of feel, and it really shows through. I mean, part of it is the 905 and the G League in general are having an older age bracket on the team. Like it's interesting. The G League used to be way younger in the age pyramid. And now there's a little bit more older players hanging around trying to get their last chance at the NBA through the G League. So you have players like David Roddy around, Eugene Omarui, and Justice Winslow. But yeah, David Roddy, fantastic all-around play to help the 905 continue to be undefeated. And the other thing is, Roddy, man, you deserve to get called up, bro. You really do. You deserve to get called up because you are playing very solid for them. Julian Reese is my 5th star. Juju Reese, a little fun game for him. 17 minutes, 9 points, 2 of 4 from the field, made all 3 of his free throws. His sister was at courtside looking all incognito in like glasses and kind of held up like this. 6 rebounds for Julian, 1 assist, 3 steals, and 3 blocks, that's fun. That the man got 6 stocks, 3 of each. Yeah, that's fun. A +15. Yeah, Julian Reese is a little bit of a controversial player. There was someone in the chat from Maine accusing him of being the most immature, unprofessional player in the history of coming to Maine Celtics arena. And I was like, what? Come on now. Yeah, this person was a jabroni. And I don't know if there's some weirdness because we know Angel Reese is a controversial player in the WNBA. A lot of people don't like her. A lot of people don't like her. And it's crazy. I mean, I get it. She's like maybe said some things about her Chicago Sky teammates last season. There's some other weird stuff with her. Maybe she's a little bit of the Dennis Rodman of the WNBA right now. And some people just hate her just because of the whole Caitlin Clark thing. And it becomes kind of I hate to say it, a bias kind of thing. But yeah, listen, is it bleeding over to Julian? Is the reputation of Angel Reese come on to her younger brother in some ways? Do they think that he's just an immature jerk and like, oh, he shouldn't be acting like that? I mean, I hate this phenomenon. She's a talented player. Some people say I would never want her to play for Toronto Temple. I would say, yeah, I do. I want her to play for Toronto Temple. If Angel Reese was on the Toronto Temple, I'd be happy, guys. Some people say, no, you don't want her. She's not a good teammate and stuff. Oh, I'll bet you if we could get her in the right place with a Sandy Brondello as a coach, I bet you she could be very, very happy. And her talent is undeniable. I mean, if the Raptors are lacking a rebounder and they got Mo Bamba, the Toronto Tempo could get a very good rebounder in Angel Reese if she suited up for Teresa Resh's team. So let's not get it twisted, y'all. Let's not get it twisted. If Angel Reese plays for the Tempo, that's a good thing, y'all. And some people are acting like it'd be a bad thing. They're crazy. They are crazy. I'll give 2 more stars for the 905 because it's a route and they're just like that. Elijah Martin will give you a star. 25 minutes, 14 points, 6 of 11 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 3 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers, 1 steal, +7. Not the best line by Elijah, but in some ways I want to recognize him. The thing about Elijah is he's a spark plug. In some ways, the Raptors 905 may get off to slow starts, and Elijah's a steady hand that's going to go get an open 3 or attack the rim and make some shots. And in some ways, that's all he's been doing. He doesn't have to carry necessarily too heavy at the end of the game, especially when it's a route. And Chucky got hurt. Chucky got hurt in the game last night and had to leave. And he didn't play the whole game. Chucky only played 15 minutes and got 6 points. And we'll have to see the update on Chucky's health before the Westchester Knicks game tomorrow for the 905 at Paramount Food Center. 7:30 tip for the game tomorrow. But yeah, Elijah, not the best game, but still solid enough to be very contributing. And like I said, he's a jump start for them. In some ways, we have bad times not scoring. Elijah Martin's a bucket. He'll go get us a bucket when we need it. My last star of the game is Jarkel. I want to give some shine to Jarkel Joyner because, once again, this is another guy just like Tyson Degenhart that's super talented, could be scoring like 30 for a lot of different teams. But he's knowing his role and he's adding to the consensus to get to the results of an undefeated season for Andrew Jones and the Raptors 905. And in some ways, that's a sacrifice, a self-sacrifice, and I appreciate him for it. So he knows when to call his number and when not to, and he's not overly selfish, but he's also very, very talented offensive scorer that we can utilize at times. Think of him like a Lou Williams, old six-man Lou Williams. Jarkel Joyner, 18 minutes, 11 points on 4 of 7 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 1 at the free throw line, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 1 block, +12. And yeah, we had how many Raptors 905 in double digits? 7. 7 Raptors 905 in double digits for a nice, well-rounded scoring attack. Lots of points off the bench, which I love to see also. Olivier Sarr, 12 points on 3 of 7 shooting, 12 rebounds. So we had a 12-12 game. Not bad. Olivier was okay. 3 assists, but 4 turnovers and 1 block for him. Chucky, as I said, got hurt and had to leave the game for a little while. There were a couple guys who had to leave at different times. David Roddy also had to leave for a little bit for a sec. But yeah, Chucky didn't return, and there's going to have to be a health update on Chucky Hepburn. Patrick McCaw came in for 19 minutes, really a defensive specialist at this point in his career. No points for him, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 0 turnovers, and 2 steals for Pat McCaw. AJ Hogarth got 2 points on 1 of 6 shooting, but he had 5 assists on 2 turnovers and 4 steals also for AJ Hogarth. Brampton's Jaden Bediako, the walk-on, came in for 2 minutes of garbage time right at the end of the game also. So yeah, good job for Andrew Jones's 905. Like I said, they're 4-0 technically in this season, but they are 16-0 from not 16-0. They're 14-0 from the other season. So they're technically 18-0 right now. Technically 18-0. Other than that Salt Lake City game, which was a championship game that didn't officially count any stats. So yeah, 905 outshot them, 50% shooting to the 44 for them. 10 3-pointers made to 7 by the Celtics. We were very good at the free throw line, only missing 3 free throws for 82% shooting. Even at the rebounds, 45 for both teams. One of the really cool things was the assist to turnover ratio for the 905, 37 assists to 16 turnovers. And the other side, 27 assists to 23 turnovers. So pretty much 1-to-1. That's a big, huge part of how they route people right there. Points in the paint, 70-64 for the Raptors, 905 also. Just a big time win. Andrew Jones's team just rolling on. And Tyson Degenhart getting the chain, rightfully so, finally this season yesterday. Yeah, it was really, really good, man. Yeah, Trevor's saying, happy game day one more time. Let's take care of business tonight. Yeah, Orlando Magic. This will be fun. These are good tests. In some ways, we have a revitalization. We have a rejuvenation. We have a injection of new energy into the squad with RJ returning, and now the prospect of Mo Bamba coming in and possibly helping to contribute to our team. One of the big things to think about with Mo Bamba tonight is how quickly will he assimilate to our play sets and the style that Darko demands of the team. You know, that's the thing. Like, he has to learn quick, and he may not be out there as much as y'all think he should be, partly because he has to figure it all out, and there's a learning curve to that. We don't want him to come out there and screw up everything just because it's like, yeah, just play him out there. He's big and tall and rebounds. Sure, to an extent, that'll work, but he can really screw things up too if he's not really with it yet. So we'll just have to see. We've had different big guys we've added to the mix all of a sudden in the last couple of years. People like Orlando Robinson, Colin Castleton, Amari Williams, different people like that. And it's always a learning curve to see how quickly the big man gets our system and understands their place and what they should be doing. Now, Mo Bamba in some ways is a higher talent than those guys I just named for sure. And it could be he could very well contribute very well for us right away. The things I'm looking for him, first of all, is rebounding for sure. If he blocks shots, that's fantastic too, and he will do that also. The other part is, well, I mean, I don't really care if he takes any threes. It's obvious he might at some point because he did when he beat the 905 last week. He does have a 3-point shot right now. The other thing is like defense. We really do need him to clog up things and use his experience in the NBA to kind of be a defensive center in the middle and really take up space. Because, you know, as much as Scottie is growing and learning how to do this more and more in Yak's absence, we want to save Scottie from the middle of the lane hits and the physicality as much as possible. Because in some ways, he's going to have that to an extent, especially if he's gone bored like he did yesterday. And also with his new discovering more and more in the lane with the mid range and near the basket, he's going to take physical hits. But we'd rather him not have to take them on the defensive end, which is not a skilled thing to do. That's why you want a big guy that just kind of takes the licks and gets in the way for the other team between the basket. And, you know, you don't have to be skilled to do that. The skill takes it on the offensive end in the lane and taking physicality and finishing through it. And we want to save that for Scott and not necessarily have him do the defensive center stuff. That's what I'm saying. And hopefully Mo Bamba, we'll see how quickly he learns and whether he's going to be utilized for a lot of minutes. I would say temper your expectations, Raptors fans. And don't come in. Once again, I would say this about everything with the Raptors, whether it's the playoffs, whether it's our record, whether we're going to win games or not. Just come in for the ride with no expectations and just be delightfully surprised as we come to discover more about this team, whether it's like yesterday in the ride with the overtime win over the Warriors, you know, whether it's learning about Mo Bamba and how he's going to be introduced to our team and how he'll be used. I'm sure a lot of people have fixed ideas in their head already about how Darko should use Mo Bamba tonight. I would say just shut the fuck up and just let him do what he's going to do because he knows better as far as with the practice, as far as with what he's learned so far when he comes in, engaging all this, and he'll do what he does with him at his comfort level. Because I can already hear probably people in social media in different places criticizing Darko maybe for possibly using him in this way or this way without using him this way when they don't have a realistic grasp of the reality of the NBA and all the factors that are in the middle of all that. It may be very idealistic to think, oh, just why didn't he play Mo Bamba 30 minutes and he would have got all the rebounds and we could have won this game that we didn't win or something like that. You know, none of this shit. All right. Just be fans and watch and just be happy when we win because we won yesterday in a game that was a statement win in some ways. And in some ways, like I said, if we can beat the Warriors on Sunday, Does that make up for a loss to the Wizards on Friday when everybody fell apart? Like, seriously. And are we really going to be like on a roller coaster for the rest of the year? Why can't we have some respect for ourselves and just be more even keel and just kind of roll with the punches and ride or die with the team as they go up and down throughout the rest of the schedule? Because we know it's not all going to be a 9-game win streak, and it's not all going to be a 4-game losing streak either. And we just, in some ways, it's like this is the mature way to be the fan, is to just cheer the team on regardless. Cheer the team on whether they're losing or winning, because that's how we are. That's who we are. That's in some ways a characteristic of the Raptors nation. And that's fantastic. In some ways, you want to be a fan that's like, no, I only cheer for them for success. If they have success, then I'll cheer for them. They don't deserve my fandom unless they're winning. Oh my gosh. Who the hell are you? People that are like that are the worst fans. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Nako, I think he's singing the song "I Got Hose Calling." I think that's the Mo Bamba song. Yeah, and I could easily do a La Bamba parody song, like a lot of people probably been already doing. Mo Bamba, Mo Bamba. Yes, he's on our team now. Oh, yes, we'll get some rebounds. Hopefully, hopefully, Mo Bamba, Mo Bamba. Man, Richie Hayes is rolling in his ground. Like, man, that's not right. Richie Valens. Come on, man. Why would you do that to him, man? Oh my gosh. All right, let's see. All right. Nako saying chat still being weird about who can comment. Yeah, fuck all that. Who cares? You guys just go through it, man. Just like the Raptors. The ref's gonna be wrong, Nako. We just got to go through it and get that success either way. You're here, aren't you? I love you, man. Thanks for being here. Isaac saying, how was that lobster fest? Yeah, it was good, man. That's the whole thing. These Maine crab lobster Celtics, they're green lobsters. You got to boil them up real nice and make them red. And then you hear the shell pop, like in the pressure of the cooking. You know, you hear that when you cook lobster, when you boil lobster. It's very fun. It's very fun. I completely forgot about the 905 game after the Raptors feast. From feast to fest. I'm just going to write this twice. Jamal Shed was a plus 34. Yes, Jamal Shed was a plus 34. Yeah, and his stats didn't line up with it, which is mystifying to me. Maybe there's just an underlying X factor to Steady Sheddy, Shed Van Vliet. I know some people in the Raptor Freak family don't like me using Fred's nicknames for Shed, but I think that they're the best ones so far as things. Steady Sheddy, Shed Van Vliet. Now, we ain't doing Shed Head. That sounds like you're being mean to yourself. I'm a shit head. Whoa, what'd you say about yourself? You know, have a higher opinion of yourself. I'm a shed head. Whoa. You know, that's coming close to saying something else, is what I'm saying. So I don't know what the nickname is here, but he wears 23, just like our old man Fred. So why can't it be a Shed Van Vliet? Seriously, that's what I would say right there. That's not an insult. That's a special homage to a career that has been built to a certain pinnacle that, you know, that Jamal Shed would love to emulate, that has the blessing of knowing Fred Van Vliet from being around him in Houston on the Cougars when Fred was on the Rockets already. They did hang out and talk to each other. And Freddie was very happy when he saw Shed come to the Raptors, because in some ways that's exactly why he's wearing 23, is because Fred said you can wear 23. You know, he's not just getting that number because it's not available, y'all. I'm telling you right now. Shed asked Fred for 23 very respectfully, and Fred said, sure, you can wear it. You can wear it. That's right. Let's go. All right, let's see. Isaac saying this: be safe with the ice and bad weather in Ontario, folks. I think Lex lost power and stream may be delayed. Yeah, just a bit. Just remember, Ontarians, if we can handle Doug Ford as premier, we can literally do anything. That's a great note right there. That's hilarious. Nako's saying, I'm looking out my window. It's rough out there. Yeah, it was rougher earlier, man. The trees were going crazy, like swaying and swaying. I've been talking to the trees a lot lately. Yeah. I just talking to them because I cut down some trees recently. I didn't want to scare the rest of them. I said, y'all aren't getting all cut down. Don't worry. Just this one. I wanted to calm them down just in case they got a little worried, you know, because one tree got chopped down. Seymour saying Draymond versus Scottie was epic. Yeah, it's good stuff. There's a lot of drama in that matchup. in a couple different ways. You got RJ versus Jimmy Butler. That stuff was fun. Definitely the Scottie Draymond stuff was hilarious. Yeah, really, really hilarious. And then Steph, it's just like it's fun for these guys to have to play Steph because it really is something that's just really special. And Steph loves being in Toronto. I'm telling you, man. There's so much energy in Toronto for him. Of course, his wife being from Toronto and him living here before. It's a big, big thing. It's a big thing. I'm telling you right now. That's right. Kaloy's saying Scottie making history with his 23, 25, and 10. I wish he'd gotten 25 points. Honestly, if he could make one more basket and have that nice round 25, 25, 10, woo-wee, Scottie Barnes. Come on now. No one else aside from Jokic has done this in 40 years. That's right. That's right. And remember that, all-star voters. Remember that, coaches who will vote him in because he won't get in on the all-star votes, which is crazy, honestly. If you're voting in the NBA, like in the States, and you're not voting for Scottie just because he's in Canada, you're crazy. You should. You should. That's right. There's Shaq Lindsay doing the La Bamba right there. Mo Bamba. The Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba. Yeah, it was almost like Bobby waited until the Raptors beat the Warriors in overtime. He said, you know what? These guys do have it. We'll go in a little bit more, all in. Mo Bamba, you're coming to the Raptors. Maybe we don't win that Golden State game like that. Maybe the call doesn't go through. And say, we can't do this because we're not good enough yet. And if we're going to make this commitment to Mo Bamba like this, now, granted, it is a non-guaranteed contract, and some have characterized it as a 12-day contract because there's a deadline on the 10th of January. Well, it will be tendered as for the rest of the year. So it's kind of smart because we don't know what's going to happen with Mo Bamba. You add the ingredient to the stew, it may not taste better. Yeah, it might be like, that don't fit. That's not right. So Bobby has leeway to cut Mo Bamba by the 10th of January if he's not of the right fit. And that could be personality wise. That could be not getting the system fast enough wise. It could be all kinds of stuff. And I don't want Raptors fans to get all crazy because they're like, oh, we solved it. And then all of a sudden, Mo Bamba's not on the Raptors in like 2 weeks from now because it didn't work. Because that is a possibility that could happen right now. And this is good, smart GMing by him. This is not a guaranteed contract. Just in case it's like, whoa, all right, we tried it. We found out, and yeah, this isn't going to work. Sorry. We appreciate you coming in and stuff like that. So, and also, as Mike, Logical Raptors Fanatic, has said in the past, a lot of this stuff with the apron and the tax and being under it and stuff, a lot of it has to do with incentives that will not probably get paid. As far as calculating it all and whether we get underneath this or that, there's a lot of incentives that are added onto the cap that are factored into the cap right now that project us to be at a certain place with the apron over it. But if these incentives are not realistic and they do not happen, and then the cap changes. And then all of a sudden we're underneath the apron all of a sudden. So this is something we got to realize with some of the news or people talking about the cap and how the Mo Bamba signing kind of interacts with that. Is just understand if he is a dud, if he's not working with our guys, if he's not gelling, Bobby can pull the plug on him, which is really smart. We need that option just in case. We do. Yeah. We did 2 the hard way yesterday. Yes, sir. Yeah. I love getting the double W, 2 W's on the same day. That's always a glorious day. And like I said, it was like a hat trick. Not even that. It was a quad of wins yesterday with the return of Rowan Jr. and the addition of Mo Bamba and then the 2 wins of both the teams. Yeah. That's a quad victorious day for Raptors Nation. And, I may not have been on right at time when I was supposed to earlier, but I came on now, and we're still talking about it right now, aren't we? That's right. That's right. Seymour saying Dylan Brooks for MVP, man, was at the Wizards-Grizzlies game last night eating popcorn in Canada. Go Canada. Yeah, Dylan's awesome. Dylan's awesome. We love Dylan. I'll vote for him for All-Star. I would say that. Neil saying, I never want to see a Draymond uncontested 3 when we are neck and neck. Again, just horrible to watch. No, that's by design. That's fine. In some ways, that is actually really smart to do that. It's just that he happened to be hitting them. It's like normally that's a good decision. Trust me, Neil. That's usually a very good decision. You just happen to be hitting them so you can get a little bit of trash talking. Who cares? You lost. Who cares? Let's see. Seymour's laughing at that. Shaq Lindsay saying we finally get a backup center and RJ back, baby. That's right. Feeling real good now, aren't we, Raptors Nation? That's right. That's right. Listen, no more out of pocket craziness now. All right, let's be a little more confident. Let's be more a little emotionally mature here. Or maybe probably won't see him on a back to back. No, RJ won't be playing tonight. We already know that. But Mo Bamba is available for tonight, and he will be playing tonight. That's right. RJ equals W. That's right, Bryce. Checking in from the bluegrass state of Kentucky. That's right. Nako saying Bamba is non-guaranteed. They could cut him on the 12th. That's right. That's right. It's actually on the 10th is the deadline because the 2 days of this year, it's a 12-day contract. Of the 2 days of this year that are still left, plus the first 10 days of 2026 is what it is. So the deadline is the 10th, Nako. Blackhawks saying we still got 50 games to go. My verdict on best game is out until the season's done. That's right. I would say the same thing. You can't decide this until the whole body of work is laid out. And but the Raptors against the Warriors in Toronto yesterday is definitely one of the ones. I mean, we've had a couple really epic games this season already. Honestly, there's been some other really huge fun games too. Let's see. Neil saying it's hard to scout against 4 or more players. That's what RJ's presence does for this team. Yeah, it's just like there was a lot more air to breathe. It wasn't as constricted immediately. It felt like that. It's like it's crazy how his presence just immediately made everybody kind of breathe easier. And it's like as soon as he made that left-handed dunk the first time he scored again, I was like, oh my gosh, isn't this so joyous? Like that was like, oh, when RJ came in and he threw down the left-handed jam. I was like, oh, I missed that. I was like, oh, I missed that. I miss that so much. I know a lot of y'all were like that too. Like when you saw him come down there and do that. And when he hit some of those threes he hit too, I was like, that's so calming. That's so soothing. This is such a holistic experience to see RJ Barrett return to the court and play for the Raptors. It's so holistic. It was holistic. It was healing. It was healing for us. It really was. Nago saying Bamba is, oh, yeah, I already read that. Let's see. Seymour saying we got Bamba. Yeah, we got Mo Bamba yesterday, man. It's crazy. Bryce is saying, I'm excited about Bamba, a 7-foot shot blocker that can shoot the 3, perfect for a backup. Mo Bamba is a Raptor. That's right. That's right. La 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 Bamba. That's right. Bryce is saying, I hope he works out. It's very well could be a turnaround for him. Raptors on brand, signing players who torch us. Yeah, for him. Yeah, this is all right. We'll look at this perspective, like Bryce is saying. Mo Bamba, your career has not gone exactly smooth. You've been mysteriously dropped a few times. Well, this chance may be one of your last few chances at really being the big show. So, do you want to screw this up? Now, you in some ways you're in a very good environment. You're with a team that's very communicative, very healthy, and you got to buy in to what the coach is going to tell you, and you better do what he says. As long as you do what he's saying and you work hard, I'm sure you can make yourself a spot on this team. But you cannot be toxic. You've got to be on task and you have to be professional. And if you can have any great impact to help the Raptors on the court, you will probably stick around. So I would just say that it's like, look, it's up to you, man. It's your life, bro. You got a chance to play for a really good organization in the Toronto Raptors, and you may not get many more chances in the NBA. So don't fumble this one, Mo. That's what I say right there. And you're gonna get to play a team that cast you aside tonight. You know, you really came out and were badass against the Raptors 905 last Monday. You know, it's Monday night again, except this time you're in the big league and you're going to be playing against a team you played for quite a while, the Orlando Magic. Maybe you could remind them that maybe they made a mistake and, you know, get a revenge game tonight. That's right. That's what I'm saying, man. Let's get a Mo Bamba revenge game on the Magic tonight. How about that? How about that? That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's true. Bobby Webster is seeing like, okay, this is the best scout. Yeah, look at how he just destroyed the Raptors 905, undefeated team. Yeah, sign him. Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to figure it out from that. That's right. Neil's saying, I didn't think Bobby would pull this card, but he did. Bobby still has an out, so Mo Bamba has to prove himself. That's right. That's right. Mo's saying, let's keep climbing tonight, Raptors. That's right, super fan Mo. That's right. Let's keep climbing. Stargate saying, Mo's a flaky player. He's weird. Let's just see how his mentality and chemistry within the team structure is first before we start getting hopes too high. Yeah, I think this is a sensible approach by Stargate. that, let's not take this for granted and just say, yeah, this is the answer and it's all going to work out. There's still stages to this on how it will work out. And part of it is we got to see if he fits, see if he's matured. And in some ways, he's ready to play in the NBA this time professionally. We'll just have to see, man. There's some questions there. We'll have to see. Yeah, Kaloy just wants rebounds and screens. Neil saying it's on the fan base to support Mobamba because front office drops centers like the common cold if they don't like them. Yeah, I don't know if it's on the fan base. I mean, people are going to have whatever their opinions are. How do we control all them? Seriously. Kaloy saying rim protection. Yeah, we want that. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy back-to-back game day. Had a magnificent game. Please, no more comparisons to Mobley. Case closed. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Evan Mobley's going to be a natural person to compare Scottie to forever. And, well, I think that Scottie beats him pretty much all the time, is what I'd say right there. Yeah, Mo's saying, way to go, Scottie. That's right. The bar is low for Mo. I don't know. We'll have to see. Isaac's saying Scottie had Curry in a hurry and on his hip while he was grabbing those late game rebounds. It's the new baby on my back for Scottie. Honestly, RJ back is so good for Scottie's game. Really is. Like he was good for everybody's. He was an infusion for Brandon. He helped Brandon get way more easier open shots. He was a energizer for Scottie to go above and beyond and get into new places with his game ever. IQ woke up. Obaji played better. You saw Walter and Dick more engaged. I'm telling you, man, he had a factor in a lot of that. And it's just a certain level of communication on the court and a certain level of compete that he just demands as a player. And if he's out there doing it, the rest of them have to be matching him in that kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Fiercey saying that it was funny to see Draymond yapping at Scottie after hitting his threes, but Scottie didn't care. He had greater plans in mind, and he crushed the so-called illusion of Draymond being a great defender. Yeah, I mean, Draymond's in the later of his career. He's a weird player. In some ways, I've never respected him, but in some ways also, I mean, he does certain things. Oh, it's 4:16. And well, normally I'd be working out right now, but I'm on the stream, so I'm going to try and finish this all up and get out of here. Stargate saying physical attributes are one thing. However, a lot of teams have passed on this guy. There's a reason for that. Keep that in mind as well. Yeah, then I'm glad we have a ripcord just to get out of it, just in case. Bryce is saying, well, if you want to play for Darko, you got to play hard. That's one of the things Bamba apparently is iffy with. His motor is the only thing in question. Injuries have also led to his recent departures with other teams. That's a good report by Bryce. So some of it is just injuries and teams having to manage their teams because maybe he's that on the fringe of the roster. And, well, if he's not available because he's hurt, we got to cut him. That happens with players too. That's true. Let's see. It's good to point out his height and shot blocking ability, etc. It's what he likes between it's what he's like between those ears. This is seemingly the issue. We'll just have to find out. We don't know. That's all speculation. In some ways, it could be a mix of what Bryce is saying with what you're saying, but who knows who the real Mobamba is? We'll just have to find out. Who is the real Mobamba? We're gonna find out. We'll find out. Kaloy saying, I get you, Stargate, but at this point, we really can't be choosy. Get Mamu to start and have this guy as a backup. Yeah, we'll have to see what the lineup is tonight with Goga out. And I don't know, the Magic, I should go look at their lineup, right? I should go look at their actual lineup since I didn't really look at it yet. So Jalen Suggs is out. So it'd probably be like Jace Richardson or Anthony Black starting. Anthony Black with Jace or Tyus Jones. Desmond Bain is the small forward. Paulo is at power forward. And Wendell Carter Jr. is the center. So, yeah, Sandro versus Wendell Carter Jr. Interesting. Orlando Robinson's the backup center. Jonathan Isaac is still on this team, so we could have a Mo Bamba versus Jonathan Isaac battle, which could be very interesting. Tristan Da Silva, Jace Richardson, the son of Jason Richardson. Also, Noah Penda is on this team still. Jamal Cain, Jet Howard. And I'm not going to do calls right now. I don't know who that is. That's probably for Vinay. Jonathan Isaac, Colin Castleton, who's out. That's basically the team right there for Orlando. Yeah, we'll just have to see who. That may be some Isaac versus Bamba kind of matchup there. It could be interesting, man. Let's see. All right. You know what? I think I'm just gonna finish up, guys. I'm right at over an hour, and I don't really want to keep talking. Real quick though, I'll do straight goods on some goods. This is Moritz. I saw this like Mortiz, kind of like Wagner, but this is Moritz icy squares. These are like chocolate squares, and they're from Quebec. Quebec. They're Canadian, French Canadian, and they're yummy, man. They're just like Adriana brought them over to my house, and they're pretty good. They're just little chocolate icy squares, and they're good treats for like the holidays. Yeah. But yeah, French Canadian. If you want a treat, Moritz icy squares. Oh, yeah, some straight goods on Canadian goods. All right, and let's do the classic card. I'll just get out of here, man. Honestly, it's just weird being on right now. I shouldn't be on at this time of day. Yeah, we'll do this one. This is a goofy one. All right, get it right away, guys. Get it right away. Yeah, I don't really want to be on for too long. Here you go. Full name answer, please. That's a Raptors number 4 right there. That's pretty easy, honestly. Trevor's saying Darko will get Mo Bamba to play better and be a better player. Chris Bosch is right. Isaac got Chris Bosch just before Logical Raptors fanatics in the house. Holy crap. Look at Mike. Mike is here. All right. Yeah. Chris Bosch is the classic card of the day. And it's one that I don't really care for. So if you guys ever get the classic card box and this card is there, you can get it. I'm just going to give you 50 points for this one because it's an easy one. It's Chris Bosch. It's not that hard. Not that hard at all. Let's see. Wow, you guys did write a lot in. Yeah, I just don't feel like going through the whole chat today. It's been a weird day fighting with the internet and just getting back to it now. Fantasy matchups, we had a good week. I beat Amari. Kaz beat Bryce. Gerald beat Cool Cat. Jason Dukes beat Fiercey. Kareem won his second game of the season against Nins. HC undefeated still, 10-0, beating Meredith. James beat Mike. And then also Amit won his matchup against Andrew. So, yeah, get your lineup set up. We're in the 11th week of our fantasy league. And, yeah, if you're doing well, you're doing well. You're going to be on the playoffs. I know I am. I'm going that way with what I've got with a 9-1 record. That's right. Excuse me. All right, I think that's it. Yeah, I don't want to do any more, guys. All right, y'all. The refs are James Capers Jr., Giamidis Petratus, and Pat O'Connell. And I would say James Capers and Pat O'Connell are not our friends. Giamidis can be all right. The refs could be a problem tonight. We are on the second night of a back-to-back. We will be missing RJ and Jakob, but Mo Bamba is showing up, and we'll have to find out about Colin Murray Boyles closer to game time. Actually, let me check and see if there's any news on Colin now. No, there's still no definitive news on Colin Murray Boyles right now. Both Wagners are out. Suggs is doubtful, and Goga is questionable. The latest news for the latest lineup news. All right, y'all, have a great day. Let's get this win today. And it'd be crazy if the Raptors can win this game tonight and the Nuggets game on New Year's Eve. They'll end up being 7-7 for the month of December, which I was hoping they would be 500 by the end of the month because the schedule was tough. And honestly, it'd be crazy because they lost to the Nets, the Wizards, and the Hornets this month. And those were games I penciled in as one of the 7 games to win. This is possible to do. The Raptors could be catching fire and going on a new win streak right now. Beat the Magic tonight and then beat the Nuggets on New Year's Eve. And all of a sudden, they're 7-7 for the month of December, which I was hoping they do, but it didn't seem like they were going to do it because they lost so much in the middle of the month already. But we can finish this year off right with a 3-game win streak, starting with that Golden State win yesterday and win tonight, win on Wednesday also. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow to react to all this. A great game against the Magic, hopefully a win, and the debut of Mo Bamba in a Raptors jersey. It's very, very exciting. All right, have a great day. Keep your heads up, Raptors Nation, and stay even keeled. It's never so bad as you think, and it's never so great as you think either. It's somewhere in the middle. And, we can find success and wins and grow as a team, as a rebuilding young core team that is not necessarily at the top of the league, but is definitely not at the bottom of the league either, but is on its way up in the standings more and more and getting closer to competing for another Larry O'Brien championship in Toronto. So let's keep it all in perspective and stay present, honestly. In some ways, the presence means when the game's over, like the game on Friday, the buzzer's over, you move on and you start thinking about the next game, even when the losses come. You dwell on the losses too long, you get in that quagmire, that's your own damn fault. So try to stay level headed and keep present and not ahead or behind. Present. And we're looking at an Orlando game starting in a couple hours. All right, let's go, Raptors. Let's go. Mama, 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 bamba. Mama, 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 bamba.